So, all right. But, again, why were these specifically created? Well, really specifically created, obviously, to really light you up. And, we know that the top 9 deficiencies in the world that really, if you like, are the silent dimmers of the planet: magnesium, vitamin D, iron, B12, iodine, zinc, omega, NAD, and pure hydration. Well, we have covered off most of those with either through our incredible liquid light vitality vessel or our beautiful bottle that we have. Being able to address things like magnesium deficiencies and vitamin B12 deficiency, which is addressed in our incredible tablets. And then also this NAD, right? As your NAD levels drop from the time you're 40, this is really like how your cells remember and renew. And so again, just so like important to address these, because it's really what's kind of turning the lights on. And so I really see each tablet, I see our bottle as this constant kind of microdosing on molecular hydrogen throughout your day, getting the hydrogen, getting the hydration that you need, as well as the molecular hydrogen throughout the day. And then I see each of our tablets is almost this like macrodose of cellular energy. And I swear that's what makes it all so happy with these, obviously, these incredible ingredients here. But I thought now I'll start turning it over to Dr. Tyler LeBaron, and maybe he can talk about, why some of these incredible, ingredients work in such a beautiful synergistic way. When we were co-creating this beautiful tablet together, and the ask was, okay, Tyler, let us make the fountain of youth, this elixir in a bottle. Like, let's create something that's really going to light people up. And I think at first Tyler was like, you're literally asking for the impossible, Taryn. And I was like, well, impossible is I'm possible. So we did create probably something that might be considered impossible, but is an incredible fusion of these amazing tablets. So Tyler, what was really the thought around really creating this beautiful supplement?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, when you asked me, you want to have something that does all these things for the body, for the mind, for the health, something that's, safe that everybody could take without a bunch of concerns, but it can really have a strong effect. And it's something unique. And it's not just, everything that's already out there. And I'm like, man, this is like really challenging. Like, and there was a list of a ton of ingredients. I spent a lot of time going through all the possible ingredients, and then you have to figure out, well, which ones could actually work in a tablet too, because that's a whole other situation. And trying to narrow things down, process of elimination. And that's the process of the scientific method. And that's a process that I try to follow, but it's interesting that sometimes there's a competing method, and that method is called inspiration. And I feel like this process, this co-creation with Luma Vitae, with Taryn, with her perspectives and thoughts and excitement, there was something that kind of guided the creation of all of this as well. And I think that combination of inspiration and the scientific method, the process of elimination, really kind of came together to make this really spectacular product that I'm really excited about.
Ah, awesome, awesome. Yeah, again, I know that we're just going to absolutely love when you all get it into your hands. So molecular hydrogen, well, if you don't know Dr. Tyler LeBaron, by the way, if you're brand new, I know we have a lot of new people coming into the community. Dr. Tyler LeBaron is the GOAT for molecular hydrogen. He is literally the go-to person in the world, the expert in the world. Tyler, what is so magnificent about molecular hydrogen?
I mean, we need a few more hours and then eternity to be talking about this. But I mean, hydrogen, that's the first element ever created. It's what is the ancestor of all the elements. And molecular hydrogen specifically is the smallest molecule, so it can easily get into our cells. It can penetrate the blood-brain barrier, and there it can neutralize harmful oxidative stress, excessive inflammation, which we know is the root of, chronic conditions and everything anyways. And we see so many studies that from other researchers as well as myself. I mean, I've been researching this since for 16 years, since 2009. So the research and the information, the mechanism behind how molecular hydrogen works is really so important to help our cells work at the optimal level. And if we have good working cells, we're going to have good organs, and good organs, we have a good human.
Mm. Awesome. It's phenomenal. And I know that the wave of molecular hydrogen that is coming to the world, it's pretty incredible that we get to not just really be part of the wave, but really be leading that wave. And a lot of that has been because of the phenomenal education that Dr. Tyler Barron has created through his Molecular Health Institute. And it's, and many of our Luma Vitae, many of our Luma Vitae people have been through that to get accreditation about what molecular hydrogen is, because again, we don't want to just be part of this wave. We want to be helping to really shape this wave as we know it's rapidly coming.
Yeah, I think that's really spectacular, Taryn, that you have the company is doing that with that education. Your focus on trying to bring the best products, the best information, the best education is really inspiring to me because it's something, like I said, I researched for over 16 years. So I started Molecular Hydrogen Institute back in 2013, and it's a science-based nonprofit, a 501(c)(3), and we're just focused on researching, education, and awareness of hydrogen as a therapeutic molecule. And of course, it's great when companies come up and they want to help to spread the education awareness, but a lot of times the products they have are not very good, and they don't really care about education, they care about sales. And so when I got connected with you and you wanted to have not only the best product but the correct education, and a lot of people may say that. I mean, you really showed it because I explained different things that wasn't totally correct in the marketing. Like, oh, okay, let's fix that. Let's get this. Let's go back. Let's get the data correct. And even telling the distributors about our Molecular Hydrogen Institute certification courses, and so many people got certified and it really helped them. I just want to say I think I'm really impressed with what you have done and the company and your mission to bring the very best of products. And so that's one of the reasons why I put so much effort and dedication into really helping come up with a product, not just okay, I gotta throw something together because I consult for this company and there it is, but really putting my heart into this, and I do that because I feel like you put your heart into this entire mission in this company, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Tyler. Well, I think we're all these beautiful light workers here, putting our hearts into this, making sure that there's some pretty good things on the planet, and we're so appreciative of you and everything that you do for us. So yeah, thank you so much. And magnesium. Do you know what I love about this magnesium? Is that, well, I'll let you talk about magnesium and how incredible it is, but I'm gonna say what I love about our magnesium.
Okay, so I'll just say briefly, as you already mentioned, most like 50% of the population are deficient. That's deficient. And actually, to be optimal, you're talking about probably 90% of the population are not optimal levels. So everybody literally could benefit from getting more magnesium. And as you show, it's involved in over 600 metabolic reactions and processes. So it's a big deal. And this magnesium, it's sourced from the Dead Sea. It's really neat. And there's yeah, it's something. It's like the hidden secret of these tablets is it also contains a very great form of magnesium, which we'll get into in a little bit more about the source and how it works and everything.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Do you know what I love? Is that it's literally born from stardust, grounded in Earth's deepest salt chamber, because our magnesium comes actually from the Dead Sea. So literally, it gets to be reborn in your glass, stardust in the Dead Sea, back in your glass, back in your body. I love that.
Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna remember that for when I talk about some of the reaction that happens. That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Okay, this one. This is the thing that makes all the magic happen with the NAD.
Yeah, so nicotinamide riboside, this is a precursor for NAD. So we talk a lot about NAD because NAD is an important cofactor. It's an energy carrier for the electrons, so you can do metabolism and cellular work, your DNA repair, autophagy, which we'll talk about a little bit. There's so many processes that require NAD, but as Taryn mentioned earlier, that as you get older, your NAD levels start to decline, and the energy production of your cells also start to decline. So there's a strong correlation there. And so by providing NR, which is a very well clinically proven supplement that can increase NAD levels. It's very safe. It's a natural to our bodies and increases NAD levels. And now we can start to potentially get more benefits as well as it how it works synergistically with the other ingredients in the tablet.
Awesome. Spermidine.
Yeah, so this is an amazing one as well, and as it mentions, helping with autophagy as a cellular renewal activator. This one, I think it's cool too. Taryn and Cindy, you guys are talking about doing your 10-day fast and how you're going to do with these tablets. So I've done a couple of presentations even before COVID about the benefits of molecular hydrogen while fasting, because hydrogen itself can regulate autophagy and spermidine can activate autophagy. So there's a really good rationale for using the tablets during a fast. And now with the spermidine included and all the other ingredients, actually, when we won't really get into it, it's a really good combination to do this. So you might be able to get some more benefits than you would otherwise. But of course, autophagy is so critical for the health of our cells and everything. And the correlation studies show that the more spermidine you get in your diet, because it's naturally occurring, basically you have a lot of improved health outcomes.
I'm just curious while we're on this. I would love, like, the healthiest I ever felt was when I did what was called a monk fast, right? Which is where you start fasting at 3 o'clock on the Sunday and then you go all the way through till Tuesday. Well, that's how I used to do it anyway. And Cindy and I were talking about maybe just doing community monk fasts and of different levels, because everyone's body is different and they react differently. So that's something that I was considering doing as a whole collective, fasting all together using these tablets. I think that would be really fun to do for those of you that might be interested into that. Let me know in the chat if you would love to do it, and we can all do it together, and we can really make an event of it. And but yeah, we'll be so fully supported. Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Amazing. Yeah. Well, there we go, Cindy. We've got to do it.
Listen, I wonder if we can collect some research data on this. This
Yeah,
could be interesting. Yeah.
let's do
I'll have to
it.
think about this. Yeah.
Think about that. Think about what we could do and put in some research data before and after. That'd be cool.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, so resveratrol, this is, it's often referred to as a longevity molecule, but it's much more powerful. Has many more benefits than just that. We know it's natural polyphenol. It's, in your wine, grapes, and so on, and it's able to activate different parts of the genes that are involved with longevity, but also has important parts with the mitochondria, and so you have a better functioning mitochondria. But another thing is it's also has some caloric restriction mimetic effects, which is like what fasting is. So you're going to actually see as we go through each one of these ingredients, there's a link towards fasting on each one of these. And we know that fasting is one of the healthiest things that we can do, right? This time of this feasting and famine type situation of caloric restriction. Actually, caloric restriction is the only demonstrated thing that intervention that can really extend lifespan. And resveratrol alone, isn't going to really do that. But when you start combining it with other things like fasting, with molecular hydrogen, spermidine, and other things, now you start giving your cells a chance to really make some benefits.
Amazing. I'm excited. I'm excited to do a fast for the tablets. It'll be my first ever. So, and let's document it. Let's see what it's going to be like. Let's create a little community group around it. Okay. Vitamin B12.
Yeah, this is an important one because actually there are quite a bit of people who are deficient. And man, if you're deficient in vitamin B12, your cognition and your brain function is not going to be there, and it can have some serious implications. And so we really care about people's health. And this is a methylated form, methylcobalamin, so it's not like, cyanocobalamin, which it's actually not so bad, but some people can be sensitive to that. This is the natural form. There's the and you can take a ton of it, and there's no downsides. And so by adding this to the supplement, we're just helping people who are potentially deficient, and we don't want that because our goal is to really optimize your cognitive function, and this is going to be important for a lot of different areas that it's involved in. Okay, now vitamin C, this is, most people think of it just as an antioxidant, and it is. It's an amplifier for our entire concoction because vitamin C is involved in what's called redox cycling, so it can help regenerate other antioxidants like vitamin E, and as well as, of course, involved in iron absorption. It has a lot of important things. It also mentions supporting collagen production. Well, that's important because, hydrogen can induce collagen production. But in order to make collagen, you have to have the correct enzymes. Well, in order to have those enzymes function, you have to have vitamin C. So, because vitamin C acts as a cofactor for these enzymes to work. And in the morning, when you're deficient in vitamin C, because vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, or maybe you're on a fast, you're not taking any of vitamin C, then your body's trying to go through autophagy process and go through different parts. Some of your enzymes that are like hydroxyproline, cannot be created because vitamin C is not even there to act as a cofactor. So this is just another reason that we put a little bit of vitamin C, and you don't need very much. I mean, typically 100 milligrams, or that's like 70 milligrams, is like what the DRI is. But this is only 10 milligrams, and you only need this much to get the benefits that we need for this formula. And it also allows it so people who maybe they have an immune system, they're an infection they're fighting, or whatever, they can go ahead and take, much higher doses, and you don't have a potential risk of like overdosing, for example.
Oh, awesome, awesome. And it's also free from synthetic fillers and any artificial binders. Like basically everything, well, not basically, everything that's in there is just what needs to be in there to really create something special for you all. Well, I guess the thing is, I see lots of people asking, how do you use it? How do you use it? We all want to know, how do we use it? So I thought I'd just do a little recap. So of course, magnesium, the mineral of calm and conductivity, hydrogen, well, our magical molecular hydrogen, right? Everything is so phenomenous, phenomenal with that.
Yeah.
Creating so many, obviously so many incredible benefits, but how do you actually use it? Well, the thing is, what we see is that it kind of depends where you are in the spectrum of age, right? So I don't know if you want to go through these, or I'm happy to go through them, Tyler. You want to go through these?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, basically just general wellness, and this is what we designed it for. Just one tablet in the morning. I mean, just one a day is sufficient. It's a therapeutic dose, just taking one. But optionally, you could go to two tablets a day during time of the stress, or maybe high performance, or maybe you just want to. I mean, these are really done so that you can take between 1 to 3 tablets a day without any concerns. And
And you
then as you get older, though, maybe 1 or 2 taps per day for energy, constant support, cellular renewal. And again, maybe use another one during the evening if you have more stress or dealing with inflammation, fatigue, and so on. And then as you get older, your body might be dealing with more inflammation, more oxidative stress. So again, taking maybe a little bit more, 2 to 3 tablets per day is recommended. And I'm just thinking probably better to space them out throughout the day. So like, morning, afternoon, evening, but you can play around with it. You're your own person. You can do all three at once, and just kind of see what you feel works the best. But my thought is basing them around like that would be good. Morning, mid-afternoon, evening.
This is, just so you all know, this is how I take it, by the way, because I'm definitely using these to turn back the clock any way that I can to keep up with every single day, which my days are very long. They start from usually 7 in the morning and finish at midnight every day. So I definitely taking 3 a day, and I take them 1 in the morning, one around actually 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I normally feel a little bit of a dip of my normal energy, and then just before I go to bed. And what I found it to be really incredible is that usually something that is going to give you a little lift of energy in, that 3 o'clock. I don't know, anyone else get the 3 o'clock kind of slump that happens? I certainly do. And I certainly get that 3 o'clock slump. I feel tired. I'm a little bit more grumpy, I'm a little less focused, and I really want some chocolate. That's usually what happens at around 3 o'clock, or some kind of carbohydrate I'm usually craving at that time. And then, I take it at night. And usually when you have something that you're taking to kind of help your body push through, and then you think, oh, hang on, I'm taking it at night. And so when I was first trialing what this was like, I was kind of almost perplexed. I was like, this is so crazy because it makes me feel so focused. And yet when I go to bed and I take it and I actually get this nice kind of blissful little burst before I go to sleep, I have the most wonderful deep sleep. I can tell you, I've been having the most wonderful deep sleep on these tablets. So I can personally definitely vouch what this is like in terms of really supporting your body using it at 2 times